Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Music Lab podcast. My name is Dogg, and I'm so excited to be back with all of you for another episode of the podcast. Today, we've got from Nashville, Tennessee, but from all over the country and the world, Moga Family Band. Welcome, everybody. How we doing tonight?
Doing good.
Thanks for
Happy to be
having,
here.
thanks for having us.
Grateful, grateful, grateful.
Dakar, Eric, and Cav. It's Wednesday night. I mean, what will we be typically doing on a Wednesday night in Nashville?
I,
Where we are right now is perfect. Actually, it
yeah,
shows
I
where
guess like this is
Cav. Where
exactly
you?
what I would normally be doing. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
where are
be in
you at?
Nashville. I'm in my bunk on a tour bus right now.
I am.
Yeah.
I am playing normally just playing bass, trying to be like, does that chord work? Maybe or whatever. It's like, and then the car had. Where are you? The car? Did you make dinner already for the kids?
Yeah, we just had dinner, put the kids to bed just a few minutes ago, a little earlier so that I could be present and it could be quieter. And then, yeah, I got my practice pad out and probably going to work on shed some tunes, get ready for multiple gigs this weekend. I'm with Moga Friday, Trey Hensley Saturday, Church Sunday, Spencer Ford Sunday night,
Right.
and
Yeah.
so on and so on.
Yeah, it's and Owen right now is playing with the Day Drinkers, this big band, like a 12, 13 piece horn big band that he's playing tonight. I think Jake and Emmy have sessions. So it's like we're all in just like what is a normal day? I don't know what a normal
It's
day
never
is.
normal.
I guess this is the normal man.
Yeah, Cav, where are you? Where are you heading right now, and who are you playing with?
So right now I'm out with two-time Grammy nominee Maggie Rose. And so I am our keyboard player in house, and I we just finished a run up to the Northeast, and we are headed home because her album comes out this Friday.
That's
So we're
exciting.
headed back to Nashville right now.
Nice. So getting to play new songs before the audience gets to hear them, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, man, it's what it's all about. It's great how you have like longtime fans who have been following someone's career for a long time and seeing how they adjust to like the new material live, getting to hear their feedback about what they love about the old stuff, what they like about the new stuff. And so yeah, and this one of my favorite things about just performing live. Period.
so for each of you, when did you first start picking up a music instrument?
Go the car.
Whew.
You're there
Uh,
earliest, I think. I think.
yeah, I got my first drum set at 2
Mhm.
after I'd broken ink pens at church on the front pew for the first year of my life. Uh, that I think after snapping enough pins and ruining suits, and the deacon sitting behind me, they were like, "We're going to help get this kid a drum set." And I've had a drum set since I was 2. I started traveling and getting paid to play when I was 11, and basically, now 20 years later, I'm 31 and full time. Never worked a real job besides Guitar Center for some gear and Sunglass Hut for some sunglasses. I had an addiction there for a little bit, but yeah.
I can see that. I can see that.
What about you, Cav?
For me, I took my first piano lesson at the age of 4. Yeah, at the age of 4. So I went to started out in a Christian apostolic school, had a piano teacher there. Then one of my mom's good friends was the minister of music at our church, and so then I started taking from her. I actually went to college to study opera, like vocal performance in opera, and that's what I went for. And then that's not what I graduated with, but that's what I went for. Um, and then post college, there's been some other jobs I've held down in management positions, but I've been playing music and cutting records in Nashville since 2010.
I started later, my personal one. I'm just glad my mom put on the Beatles, Frank Sinatra, and Simon and Garfunkel when I was growing up, and Paul Simon, oh, of course. Anyway, um, I think that led. I started late. I started when I was 16. I picked up the bass at 16, compared to everyone else, and then I just didn't stop. So everyone's in this eclectic change. Like these guys grew up with it. I'm glad I can say I grew up with it because mom put it on. She put on great music. But bass happened at 16 in high school, and then I just couldn't stop. I dropped out of medical school just to keep playing bass.
Man.
I mean, hey, it works out. So far so good, right?
Yeah.
It's only your problem. It's only your problem if you're not good at it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got introduced to you guys through Floyd Fest. We did our bottom line on the bottom lines. We featured you guys. So I want to hear about individually, like what your experience like with Floyd Fest was, because the lineup was fucking stellar. So I can't imagine the festival being any worse than the lineup. So Dakar, go ahead. You tell us how it was. It.
Oh my gosh. Floyd Fest was this is Floyd Fest was pretty crazy. I had a little extra crazier experience with Floyd Fest because I had a wild we did the noon show, then I had to leave town, and then I had to go up 3 hours and come back and then make it by midnight for the jam, and then like but all in all, the staff, the backline people, everyone was so hands on, helpful, and just like top notch. It was. I felt like I was somebody. I mean, get it at when we got back at midnight, I got cart like they met me and carted me, rushed me to the stage, and I was like the last time I was at a festival and saw this. I think it was Stanley Moore. Was it when we were
Yeah,
playing?
yeah.
And Stan Moore like got carted up, and I was like, oh snap, I'm on that status right now, you know. But it was cool to just be taken care of. You know, not every festival is that way. Not everybody's as hands on. You know, the owner came up and just showed us a lot of love and was very very genuinely like one of the sweetest people. And just we had a lot of good interactions, and even band to band, and the jam was incredible. All the camaraderie of the bands, there was no like huge ego issues or anything like that. We just all got to jam and play some good music. And yeah, I don't have a single complaint. Like, it was just a beautiful atmosphere, great people. Yeah, and a lot of great music was made. Absolutely.
There's so much history, at least for that. I think, go ahead, Cav, because Cav has done it with Maggie, I think, right?
Yes, yeah. So I did it with
Right.
Maggie last year when we played multiple days, multiple slots. And this year they can tell you I was just incredibly hyped to be returning to Floyd Fest. I kept talking about like, how just like the car was saying, the camaraderie, and then just the care that the staff and the event planning has and how they take care of the artists. And then also how you have so many like legacy attendees that just keep coming back year over year over year. The people that are like annual Floyd Fest attendants that just really make the festival so great. Um, Big shout out to Caitlin Frisco, who helped put us into the rotation with the Super Jam and stuff like that. Big fan of her, good friend of mine. And it's just like, yeah, all the camaraderie, people like seeing our VIP set, and then other artists being like, okay, when's your next set? We're going to show up. We're going to make sure we're out of bed early to come catch your noon set. We're going to make sure we show up later tonight after our set to catch like the jam set. So, yeah, it's just Floyd Fest. It's family both like in front of the stage, on the stage, and behind the stage. Like it's just all the best, man.
How about you, Eric?
Yeah, I loved it because like it's been such a when we started this band, after finding everybody, the next step was, where do I see this band perform? One of the strongest ways, at least my favorite style of writing or envisioning or whatever it might be, is seeing it in its fullest glory, if that's how you want to, if that's at least my description of it. And where do I see this band performing? Where do I see it at home? Like, what is its home? Who are the people? And it's been magic. This year has been magical because it's kind of hitting every single whatever goal that I would tell these guys. I'm sure I've told the car at where somewhere's like, where we're playing Bonnaroo, High Sierra, Floyd Fest. Like, these are Rooster Walk. These are the worlds that I feel that people will appreciate what we're doing. And I think we're finding the
Yeah,
people that really
yeah,
appreciate what we're doing. It's been magical because it's allowing us to be us. And when we met we met John McBroom. He was. This is when you know you love some like when somebody loves what they're doing.
Yeah.
John McBroom's now the owner of Floyd Fest, but at least he was helping out at Rooster Walk. And then I met him, and then he just loves us for the song and a half that, or a song really that he got to see
Yeah.
of it because it rained for our main stage set at Rooster Walk. And we're like, well, that canceled. But he was like, oh, from what he heard, he spent all his energy and made sure that he was there at our set. Um, that's kind of what matters to me, at least, where it's like, oh, these are people and these are relationships that we've been building with all these whatever name whatever festival, and I can aim for that. But then you look behind the curtains because we get an opportunity to. When the people just love and genuinely love music and genuinely want to support a band that I believe in, I really do. And when we put it out there, there's people with that consequence that's also like, oh, we believe in it too, to give you that opportunity. That is unbeatable. I still shake my head. I was like, how like I always feel like no one knows us, of course, because we're just starting out. We're not that big of a name. This is our first year of that festival. There's bands that have been playing there for many years now that kind of established that we know when we see an Andy Frasco or we see a Lucas Nelson. When we see that name, you're like, yep, that those are the names attached to that thing. That's that's the end game that I'm aiming for. That when they hear our name, it's like that's these are the attachments, and it's been just this affirmation. Like Floyd Fest was just like I just dreamt about it before we even had made this band. I'm like, yeah, one day, whatever that makes sense. And then now seeing our names on a band, like not for anyone else that we're playing for. We're not playing for somebody else. It's a band. It's the name of the band that we started with six people, and our name is getting shared with Lucas Nelson, Tedeschi Trucks Band. It's like, no, that has so much more weight than just like, yeah, sure, we played in those same places with those people, but for somebody else. But now it makes it extra special because it's like
It's
we made up
ours.
that name. We made that name up. So now people are attaching it to something. So it's a massive honor, definitely.
Well, Moga means family, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
so I mean, for each of you, because in this band currently, and then in other bands, do you prefer playing festivals or do you prefer playing kind of your own gigs?
Hmm. It
Prefer to
depends on who
play.
I'm playing with.
Yeah, I prefer to play.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
say who I'm with matters a lot in that answer. Um, as Moga, we've played in small rooms, big rooms, festivals, small bars, barbecue shacks. Like
Yep.
I will play with this band anywhere. There are some bands I've played with that I was like, I wouldn't want to play Red Rocks with them. You know, like who doesn't want to play that show? But yeah, there's certain people that you just don't want to be, on the highest mountain with, because it doesn't give you the same fulfillment and yeah, and the same joy. But like this is one of those groups where I'm like, we could play to a kitchen staff in the actual kitchen
That's it.
and if I don't have a drum set and just a shaker and we're just tapping away, like that would be a dream show because I'm with this group, like having fun, doing what we love to do.
Like,
That's
let me really think about that because it's like I do love that. I fucking love that a lot. It's like, what do I prefer? What's been fun? I love I love going into a room that no one knows who we are. That's seriously one of my favorite things because my whatever internal fuel, whatever it is, likes to go, hey, you really believe in this band? If it's really good, you can win people that don't know you. Like you can. Like if it's really good, if it can stand the test of time or whatever it is, if it is that worth it, you should be able to win a crowd that doesn't know you, which is which is why we love that the Buffalo Jam, the Buffalo Mountain Jams. Like they don't know us. Let's just play. Um, I do love that. But at the same time, as this is kind of like we're finally taking the steps to do this thing. We just played at Wisconsin last week, and then seeing someone in the crowd sing the lyrics is like, oh, I love that too. Like that's also magical. That's like, hmm, do we prefer festivals that, we're part of this thing that some people don't know us? Or do you prefer playing at something that people are going to be there for us? I don't know. I think it's like the question is, do you like steak or do you like ice cream? It's like which one's better?
And the answer is yes.
The answer
Which
is
one? Which
yes.
one's better? Which one's better?
Yeah.
Ex-
You can't
ex-
answer that, Eric, and you
yeah,
can't answer
exactly.
that.
Exactly. That's how I feel about. Sure, I do love festivals. I really do. But there's something magical too that's happening when we're playing for people that,
Yeah.
And already know us. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
What about you, Cav?
Well, like I said, when you first asked the question, I just said I love to play. Period. Like my philosophy in music is pretty simple. People have an infinite amount of choices they can make where they can spend their time and money, and the fact that they would be standing in front of a stage that I'm on, I do not take that for granted, and I never will. And so, like being able to deliver an experience in that moment, whether I'm playing for other people, whether it's Moga. Like to me, as a live musician, that is my highest calling. Is in that moment is making people just appreciate the fact that that is where they chose to spend their time and their money. And so, yes, there's something like Eric was saying. It's something so magical about people that have never seen you before that just kind of like took a wild hair, like a wild chance on seeing a band they've never seen before, and they get blown away because we're really good at what we do. But then there's the thing like the show we just played, Blues on the Chippewa in Durant, Wisconsin, right? There was a couple that drove over 2.5 hours to see us specifically at that festival. And so, like, there's something that you have to honor in that as well, right? And it's cool for like Floyd Fest specifically because we played multiple sets. Like we had our two of our own sets in the jam. That second day of sets, that noon set we had, you could watch and see people line up in front of their favorite band member. Like, whether they love Jake's guitar solos, whether, Emmy makes them cry because Emmy makes everyone cry when she sings. Or, they love Owen's power sax solos, or they know that Eric's going to walk out halfway onto the and almost jump off the stage when he does bass solos at the front. So they're standing all the way to the side of the stage, or they're standing in front of me on keys, or they're lining up with the car because they don't want anyone else in their way when the car does what the car does, right? At the back of the stage on drums. And so it's like I I don't know how to answer your question, man. I really don't because like all of that stuff is just so amazing. All of it for like it's all different ways, right?
Yeah, that's great. That's a great answer, man. So I want to know, like, when you guys are walking around Floyd Fest, or if you decide to, on an off night, you have a night to go see a show, like at a club or something. Is it difficult for each one of you to actually just appreciate the show, or are you like kind of nitpicking and kind of analyzing and trying to like kind of go over everything that you're witnessing and you're listening to?
Can I answer that? Because I think about this a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
And personally, this is what's magical about this band. The reason why there's always such a moment for each individual player is because we're six individuals that are so different. Like our capacity and our thing, that's what makes the music so magical. Because it's like, ooh, that's what it sounds like if those six guys push each other. This is where I'm at musically with it, at least with that question, because I've been thinking about it a lot. Um, there's seasons, at least with what I'm going through as a musician. There's seasons where I need inspiration, and there's seasons where I just need something to say. And at this current moment where I'm at, it's so hard for me to go watch other music personally. I have no interest because I have this bottled up ball of inspiration, let's say, that needs to play or needs to say something or share something or write something or blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
That I'm I'm too full to really enjoy something when I'm trying to input. Like, do I want to watch a show just for fun? It's been so hard because even I'm trying to watch. Bob Dylan was here, and my wife and I were just outside the gates listening. I was like, oh my God. And it's tricky. It's tricky because I'm just always, every show I see, I'm always like, all right, that's how we can make it better. This is how I would say it and how I want to present it. Oh, I like the way that lighting worked. I was like, okay, I'll try to do that for this thing. It's going outwards at the moment. And I'm not saying I don't. I love music. I really do. I would watch it. I would watch as much as I can, but it's like at this moment in my current season,
Mhm.
I have too much I want to say out. That I personally don't enjoy the complete. Not at yes again, not this moment. Not if they've never enjoyed it.
Mhm.
I just can't enjoy the current moment of just watching somebody else right now. Just not right now. And who knows? Maybe eventually I'll be like, all right, I'm hungry to go watch some live music. I need to be inspired. That'll happen too.
Yeah.
How about you, Dakar?
Um, well, I'm kind of on the opposite end of that, where I'm constantly curious about other conversations, about other approaches, other um, you know, I love hearing what people have to say. I love hearing, I didn't realize we were in a competition. At almost half of these competitions we've been in, I was just showing up and ready to put on a show. So then when it's like, all right, the winner is, and I'm like, wait a minute, what are we talking about? But no, it's been a beautiful thing, especially being on the road, to see the levels of, there's levels of musicality and musicianship, and you can tell how much someone practices, you can tell how much someone just feels, you can tell how much repetition or heart people a band can put into something. Or as Eric was saying, a lot of people have a lot to say, and I knowing how much Eric has to say already, I understand his season, because he does he never has nothing to say. But like, it's true. But ultimately, like, um the psychedelics, right? I keep talking about this band. This band, they opened for us. We were in was it Santa Cruz?
Santa
Yeah,
Cruz.
yeah,
It was
Santa
a
Cruz.
double bill actually, but
But they're yeah,
they
they're
were
Yeah,
the first
based
act.
out of South Carolina.
yeah,
Okay.
we double billed with this band called the Psychedelics.
I do love them. I do love them.
They are so good that I have not gone a full day since we played together without listening to their album in its entirety. I have not gone a full day without listening to their album in its entirety. I will say one more time, I have not gone a full day without listening to their album in its entirety. I just did it today again, cutting the grass. Like, they so good, so tasteful. And I saw it live, and then was like, oh, I received this. This will be in my. I'm going to be playing this a lot. I'm going to be listening to this a lot. This is inspiration. While I can't say everybody's had that impact on me on the road,
Mhm.
the fact that there was no, I'm going to go sit and this and like, no, there's a level of a band that can just grab your attention. Because even Eric was like,
I was
we
there. Yeah,
we we were
Yeah,
we were all we were
yeah.
I
all
was
looking at each other
zoned in.
like,
I'm listening to
this
this
is
band. I was like,
dangerous. These
very good.
guys
They're
can
very
play.
good.
And we were all on separate sides of the room. Like, somebody was getting a drink, somebody was grabbing water. I was on the phone outside, and then I go, oh no, I need to get it. I'm getting off the phone. Like, it was, though, there are types of bands and types of people that can really grab your attention like that. But that band specifically, this summer, was like, that's been the biggest impact. But I mean, so many great people we've worked with, even just through different lanes of, like, we did the MT Jones guy. That was another great moment where I was like, oh, we have, oh, this person has so much to say and delivers it with such soul and accuracy and just beauty. Ugh. All right,
That,
I've been inspired. yeah, but yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make that long winded, but yeah, there's a lot to check out in the world of music, and I'm grateful to be a part of it. You know, a part of the same festivals where I'm like, oh, I respect, they respect, and it becomes a thing where we get to backstage shake hands and properly acknowledge, like, yeah, we're playing the same stages, we're playing the same places. This is I'm grateful to be where I'm at. You know, that's ultimately it.
How about you, Kev?
I would say that I don't know. I do still enjoy listening to other bands and other things, but I think because there's something I'm always searching for. When I listen to music, I'm always listening to see who's playing with the most restraint in regard to whatever's happening, right? Because you get to a certain level when you're traveling, you're doing all this stuff, all these bills, and then like people have their chops, people have their licks, people have their things, and sometimes you can tell has just been brought onto the gig because they were an impressive player, not necessarily because they had anything to say, but because they were an impressive player. You're like, wow, this gig would have probably been better without your lead guitarist, like at all. Like just get him out of here and let the band gel, and that then we might be talking about something, right? And so, like for me, I'm always looking for like who's that glue player? Who's the one that's making everyone else like sit down in the pocket? Who's the one that's like making sure that it's the verse so that the vocals coming over the dynamics of the band, or it's like a post chorus where like there's a band lick and it's driving home and it's sitting the way it's supposed to be sitting. So like I'm always like investigating like the grander arrangement of things, especially as like a keys player, right? And so like because in the keys world you have like access to so many different sounds or types of things or like expressions of things like more so than a lot of other instruments do. So you're like, do you use those things for good, basically, or are you using those powers wisely, or are you just shit on everything, like so it's kind of like, but that's why it's like I will always love funk, funk and like deep like psychedelic rock will always have a hold on me because it's a group of people that could be playing as fast or as hard as they can, but sometimes they're playing one note for 8 minutes because that's what's called of them. Like, that's the thing that needs to happen to make sure the groove is rock solid. And so like when I'm listening to bands, that's what I'm listening for. But as I've kind of matured and traveled, I found that you can find that thing in bluegrass, especially like in bluegrass bands. Like the people that can really like sit to a great banjo player is worth more than any drummer. Sorry, Dakar, but like in the
I'm
bluegrass
used
world,
to it.
a mean banjo player will sit down a pocket meaner than most drummers, and so like, but then you extend this to like I listen to metal, I listen to singer songwriter, just acoustic stuff. So it's kind of like, where's the pocket, and is the band telling the same story? So that's all.
Yeah. So I want to talk about your song "Pretty Bird" because on the album, we have I forget what's her name?
Emmy.
Emmy.
Yeah.
So she sings the song on the album, but when I listened and I watched the Lightning 100, oh,
No, she does not. On the
That's
album,
still Owen.
that's Owen.
That's Owen.
That's Owen. That's Owen on the album.
oh
That's
my God,
yeah. That's Owen. Yeah.
that's amazing. Like
Yeah.
I really thought it was her singing on the album, and then he was doing the performance because she wasn't there.
Oh no, that's
Yeah.
Owen. That's always been Owen.
Wow, that is
Yeah. Yeah,
a
he's
voice
talented,
from
man.
God.
I always forgot.
I love that.
Little
I love that. Like
little
just
buttery
listening and
angel.
just it's just all just amalgamating. It's amazing.
Yeah, but it's funny too because like I could envision like a female singing that song and like having
Mhm.
the same impact. Like it would
Yeah,
be
Yeah.
like the songs aren't. It can live anywhere.
you're right,
It can
right,
live.
which is
It
kind of
should live
unique. That
anywhere.
doesn't always happen like with songs. And do you think that's more of a reflection of the band, or do you think that's more of a reflection of the song itself?
Ooh,
Well, I think
question.
topic wise, at least what we wrote that song for is the
Mhm.
idea of sometimes you want something really badly. Sometimes you want something to happen to the point that squeezing it that you don't realize you're squeezing the life out of it, you know? And I've seen that thing is universal, male or female, but very nuanced at the same time because that requires a lot of self-reflection to be able to understand that, like, oh, I've been holding on to that so tight. I don't, for example, some you could see a version of that in someone's life. I don't want this relationship to be toxic. I don't want this relationship to be toxic. I don't want this relationship to be toxic. You say that enough and you hold on to that so tight that it ends up being toxic.
Mm.
It's like, oh, the thing that made it toxic is me just constantly just choking it.
Mm.
So that's the theme of that song. So I don't, yeah, it doesn't, it should mean the same if the car sings it, if Cav sings it. The meaning doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think we've even done that song instrumentally, and I feel it. It's like, ah, yeah. Like, so I hope it's the song,
Mm.
but at the same time, I wrote that song. I wrote that song to be able to go, what does the band sound like in this song?
Right.
And now it's evolved so much from when it first started. And it's like where it is now, that's what the band sounds like. Where it is now, when we just go anywhere, it would it have the same impact if it was not the same band? I don't think so. I again, when I write, when I envision, when I plan, I'm already thinking about these guys. I'm already thinking about where would they shine. It's like I love that it starts off on drums, so he gets the car the moment to just go, dude. Do whatever you want. You can do anything,
When
you know.
on a song like River Run, you kind of let Jake kind of go off, right?
Oh
But
yeah.
then we've done River Run where I've done the solo.
Oh, really? Okay.
We've done River Run where Owen does the solo. It's like,
Yeah.
or yeah, it's
I've
magic.
I've led River Run on vocals.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep.
All the wrong lyrics.
Same. Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I hope that it's a space for everybody to feel they can do well. This whole band's ethos, at least asked when we first started talking to each other, is like, I want you to be able to do whatever you want.
Mm.
I want to see what that looks like when you can do whatever you want. And let's see how people interact with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would if the band wasn't called Moga Family Band, would it be fair to be called like Emmy and her five big brothers or
Here's what I love
four,
about
four big brothers, one little brother.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what I love about that is I could see versions where it would be fair to call it Eric and five other guys, or Cav and his friends, or the car and his buddies, and Jake and his band that he gets a solo in. To me, that's all. They all can stand on their own if we wanted to. That's what's so fun that it'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, it's the Eric show. It's like, well, man, it's kind of the fucking Owen show. But at the same time, you're like, oh, this band wouldn't be anywhere if the car wasn't there. Like, and then I was like, oh, and then Cav starts singing, plays the talk box or the tube we call it, and then it's like, oh, he's just doing whatever he wants, and it's like, what is this? What is this band?
And collective.
Yeah.
have you guys found an issue with playing smaller stages because you're six pieces? Like, have you had an issue with spacing at any of these shows where you really can't, kind of fully like?
No.
Yeah, I think the smallest stage we ever played was that Woolworth gig where we took up maybe an eighth of the stage because they were also presenting awards on that same stage.
Yeah.
So we were literally probably within, I would say, an 8x8 footprint for six people.
Yeah.
Like full instruments, everything. Like Jake's amp was underneath my keyboard stand. And Jake's back was like against my two-rack keyboard. I was next to Eric, who was next to the car in the corner, and then Jake,
Yeah.
and then like Jake, Emmy, and Owen were all on stools, and Emmy was like just like slightly ahead of them because then we had like the square footage for the legs to work out. But we had played the tiniest stages imaginable, and we were just basically doing award show bumper music.
It's amazing.
But then you take it to like we go from there to like the Oasis stage at Floyd Fest where we can run around for days, you know. So it's kind of like, yeah, we just get to do what we do, man.
I mean, you had mentioned Andy Frasco earlier, and I've known
Mm.
Andy since 2013. I know all those guys.
Big
They're
fan.
they're amazing. We saw them a couple weeks ago at Everwild, but they've had some change, and they've had some departures and stuff. As a band, how do you deal with that, and how do you kind of adjust the dynamic when stuff like that happens? Because you've all dealt with that in other bands, obviously, correct?
Yeah.
I have a current answer for that, unless someone wants to has an idea. I kind of have this current philosophy that I've been approaching that has helped me have better relationships with at least everyone in the band, you know. Um, and that's kind of what I'm chasing more importantly. It's and I've even said this, and I've said this in many different versions. And I cared for Dakar when we weren't playing together.
Mm.
And I was like, I cared for Cav before we've even started this band. And then if I keep chasing that, then I'm in love. Then the ethos of what we're doing this for is not correct. If I'm only chasing, oh, I want to keep the band together. It's like I think it's again, you're gonna pretty bird the thing if your only goal is to keep the band together.
Mm.
But if the goal is you want these individuals to have the best experience of life, with you having the best experience too, I think that's it doesn't matter what it looks like if it ever does change. Like if that's the entire goal, and the word I've been using is surrender. Surrender does not mean quit or doesn't mean give
Right.
up. Surrender means to like, it's okay. It's okay to trust in whatever that looks like. Like I'll say it now. Yeah, we're a year and a bit in, but I know for a fact that if this is not the place where I feel my most truest selves, these guys won't hold me back.
Mm.
You know, that's not the relationship that we created. We just gave it a name. We just gave that relationship a name and we just called it that. And who knows? Of course it's going to change because family changes, things change.
Yeah.
Like it might, who knows? That's what's so magical about what's going to happen, that you guys, people get to be part of this story. They get to see it evolve and grow and change. Um, because I think that's my favorite music. You know, I don't need to hear the same version of of Phil Collins. I would love to see what Genesis sounded like. I would love to see when he did his own thing. I would love to whatever. It's like this whole space that you get to tell a real story.
Yeah.
And yeah, things will change. That and I just surrender to that and just focus really on what I care about. And if my goal is to have wherever it just feels good when you talk about somebody's name, and it's every time you think about somebody's name, it's just like everything feels good. It just feels good. That's at least
Yeah.
that's at least my goal. I was like, oh, I can be real with that guy. I can say really how I feel, even if I'm annoyed or frustrated or but I can say it. I would love to leave the days where you can't be your truest self and you have to walk on eggshells with somebody you work with, especially chasing what you love. That's how I feel about if it changes. That's life. Because if our goal is to be authentic, it's inevitable, you know?
Mm.
What about you, Dakar? What do you feel?
I feel like this is this is one of those this is one of those moments in this group where all of us have had the opportunities, and as Cav is on the road, and as we're all doing double duty in other groups and other things like that, this band has provided us a space where we are constantly reminded why we matter, why this is, why this yes is such a big yes, why this, we talk about big yeses and small no's and the things that really matter, and how much it counts. Like I actually was not the original drummer for Moga, but the moment that I got the conversation started and it was like, hey, I would love this position, full transparency. You guys are my favorite people around town. There's if I'm going to put it out there like that, I want you to know, and without stepping on toes. And I've even had conversations, and the last drummer Liam comes to shows and supports and comments, and like we have a great relationship. And it's like I wouldn't want to be here if I didn't feel like I'm not supposed to be here. You know, nobody wants to go into a family and be like, oh, you're definitely the stepbrother. You're like the ugly stepchild or whatever. Like no, I'm grateful to be like in this unit, and like the value of the personal lives and the amount of effort we put in to making sure each other are okay, and the steps we're taking for mental health and all the things that this band truly cares about. The food that we eat, the 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 amount of good food we put in effort to receive, except for Sprouts in Northern California. We won't talk about that. But anyways,
all the rest of the band enjoyed Sprouts in Tahoe.
Throwing shade, baby.
Anyways,
These guys no shit on Sprouts. They were so awesome. I love them.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
whatever.
anyways, it's such a beautiful thing to like. Yes, there's going to be change. Yes, there's going to be ups and downs in people's lives. You know, there's certain things, there's certain shows that not everybody can make. But one thing that I've always been like coming into this is like, hey, look, guys, if we can manage to remember why we did this band and why this band is this band, that means we don't need a sub. That means we don't need to work outside of the lines and try to do what we don't need to do. My favorite saying this year has been, only Cav can sub for Cav, because there's been moments where Cav couldn't be there, and you know there's other people that's, you know, whatever. But like as Cav said, that there's moments where songs can do one note and be on that one note for 8 minutes. Cav has that restraint. Cav will do that in some songs, and while that's not in the recording, he does it in that moment, and we're like taken away. Like it's like the things that each of us bring to the table just makes this relationship and this group that much more special. And so in that, I think the respect for each other's crafts, the respect for each other's journey, I mean, it makes it easier to say, yes, this is where I want to be. Yes, you know, if a sacrifice needs to be made, if there's another step, if there's another thing I need to do, we all respect that. We all have such broad journeys that it doesn't take away from what Moga Family Band is and is building.
How about you, Kev? Anything, Dad?
Man, I will say, like, I think the biggest factor is trust, and so it's trust interpersonally, but also trust in our like professionalism and like caliber as musicians sharing that stage. Yeah, there, as Eric was saying, it's nice to be able to have like authentic conversations when they need to be had without fear of that spilling over into some grander plot of like retribution or resentment or things like that, right? But even on stage, it's kind of like the philosophy that we approach things with is like when the car was talking about me playing one note, I've done it. I have 3 keyboards. I walked away from all 3 of them. There's nothing more that I can say that will add to this moment. You know, there's been times where we've hit the end of the song, Emmy or Owen are doing a vocal thing. I've seen Eric literally take his bass all the way off and just walk upstage because he's like, there's nothing more for me to add here. This is how this is supposed to go, right? And so we don't have we I think we have an ego as a band about like the caliber of band we want to be and the circles we want to be mentioned in. But as far as like delivering the best moment possible, there is absolutely no ego. And if that means that the car is standing up off the drum kit, that means that Jake turns his guitar all the way off. Like, whatever is called for in that moment, and we trust across all six of us to read that moment, right? And this is the first time I've ever been a part of a band like that, where you can have things built on intricate arrangement and weeks of rehearsals and production meetings, things like that, and still arrive at an incredible product. But there's something completely different when it's something that it's a way that only you see the world that fits with five other people, specifically the way that they see the world. And like there's something really special happening here. But no, things won't be all roses. We all have our own projects. We all play for the people. So like, yeah, sometimes our tempers flare. We butt heads, or like there's some like logistic things behind the scenes that like we're like this could have been done differently. This could have been done better, or like, hey, actually going forward in the future, my preferences are X, Y, Z. But those are the growing pains of learning how to operate this thing. That is that's the hardest thing. The stage is the easy part. It's all the rest of it, figuring out how to manage the day to day life that get us to those stage moments. And so, and again, that requires the same level of trust that we have on stage, right? That same level that we have on stage to deliver these moments is the same trust that we have to have off stage, that we can work through whatever tensions and or corrections that we have. So, but yeah, so things will change. Like I said, I'm married. I think yeah. I'm married. Eric's married. Car has kids. Like so it's like there are. This band isn't like the. This band isn't the reason we do life. This band is an expression of us doing that life. If that makes sense. So yeah, I've had to miss gigs for my sister's PhD graduation. I assume that there will be gigs that the car will miss in the future because he has to be there for his kids. And those things matter. That's why we're doing this, so that we can be a part of like a successful band in a commercial way that allows us the revenue and also the flexibility to actually go live our lives without being put in situations to where like we've all been on things where like, hey, my family needs me right now. And we're like, okay, well, we have to bring in this other person. We don't know what we'll usually going forward. And we don't that's not what we're after, right? It shouldn't be both. It shouldn't be both at the level that we're at. But yeah, but all that just requires and a crazy amount of trust, and every single day you're finding out just how much trust that is.
I mean, that's a good segue. So, I mean, what how important for a band of six members, how important is it to kind of have defined roles for each of you?
Oh, uh, I think it's very important. I think when 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 it falls on one person, it's easy to place blame. It's easy to make it's easy for it to get harder for everyone to have the same mindset, because if we're just going banking off of one person's decisions, it's like, oh well, what about this? And as Cav was saying, logistics may not be what you think they are, and we all have different different views of how we've managed things in the past, and where we've been. Cav on tour buses and things like that. We all have different experiences, so everyone's opinion's a little different, or everyone's thing. So when we're you know setting everyone's with tasks or responsibilities to bring forth toward the band, it's so much easier once everyone's been like, okay, so logistics, you got logistics. Hey, you've got to make sure merch is here. You've got finance. You've got behind the scenes, and we all pitch in. Again, I like to remind we pitch in for, hey, who wants to eat good? Let's make sure this food is this and that, but ultimately when everyone does take a role, that makes that brings it all together to where it's not wearing one person out. It's not making one person's life harder. It's everybody gets to add a little piece to the pie. And in that way, not only have you carried your weight and held your own, but like you also contribute and you feel like you've contributed, like, and have a stance outside of us just playing, because as we've said, it's collective. It's we all have something to say. We all get to play and solo and sing and do what's needed on stage, and there's just as many responsibilities, if not more, off stage. So it's very important that we are mindful of how much there is, and it's very important that we also communicate. It's getting to the point where it's easier for day to day because of the fact that we're speaking up, we're all paying attention to these schedules, emails, the things, the logistics, as we are at 6 people trying to be on a day to day schedule in a band, and we all also have we got this collective calendar, and it's like, oh man, Cav's out for 14 days. We're going to miss you, but we understand, and then it's like, all right, so logistically, how do we move and do this? Let's make sure we get some recording time in. Let's make sure we just get a meeting in, make sure we talk and have just let's get together, have a just talk, powwow, get things together, figure out what mixes we need to prepare, or like what shows to have content for. It's just it's a train. If we're all kind of moving together and making sure those gears are rotating and everybody's pitching in, it makes this ship move. It makes everything easier, if per se. But
I imagine, just from talking to you guys, just the passion that you have shown just through your conversations with me, I imagine that this battle of art versus commodity has to be difficult for each one of you. Talk about that struggle.
First and foremost, dude, you ask great questions.
Dog.
I'm
No,
just like,
seriously, yeah, for real.
yeah. Well, I was like, he's actually listening and he cares what we're talking about.
I
That's
do
awesome.
my best.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Who wants to start?
Okay, I'll have a little short thing about that. Like, so art versus the commoditization, and I think this is one of the first bands where there's kind of like this proof of concept that exists, kind of like in the hired gun world anyway. But when you're making records, you have basically 4 versions of a song that exist. Right? You have like the original demo that exists. You have sorry, even for the demo. So you have like the song idea that exists, the original demo, the record version, and then whatever happens to it live once it lives beyond the record. Mm-hmm. And so this is the first band where like the band itself is a proof of that concept. So, and one of the things I really have to commend Eric on, Eric is a master of maximizing every single step of the 4 of those processes, letting them live. I think like the thing is, people get so caught up of like, the recording's too far away from the demo, or like we can't get too live, we can't get too far away from the record, or it'll be unfamiliar. Eric said, screw that. Let's just do whatever we want. All of this can live separately, and then we can like commodize it all. Like it can all be a commodity in its own way, and then people will find their way to whatever favorite version of the song that they love, right? And so that's all I'd say about that, is that a lot of times people arrive at a tension between art and commodity because they're trying to pre-burn it. They're trying to control it through a funnel too hard. And Eric was like, I'll actually just put in the work to make them 4 completely separate funnels. And I was like, and it's the first time I've ever been like in an endeavor with someone who thought that way. And it's literally changed everything. That's all I gotta say about that.
How about you, Eric?
I appreciate that, Cav. I love that. Um, yeah, I just want to take a second to appreciate what you said. I'm, and these guys know it. Anytime one of these guys tries to compliment, I'm like, at least my immediate response is like, no, or not no, but
You
I
sit there
throw
and
it
take
back
this
to them.
compliment. You take this compliment. Take it.
Yeah. I wanna. I'm taking that one. I'm learning how to take it, and I think that's a great question because I think that that's been my life mission. I literally created a nonprofit organization, and that's how I really met all these guys. It was it's all just blended into that thing where I created a nonprofit organization called Pitch Meeting, where at least the tagline is music done the right way for the right reasons. Many reasons to make music, of course. You can make money, you can all this stuff. But imagine if you can find a way to make music for the sake of art. But this time, the commodity that allows it to be what's the word? Economically viable for six people. I I was trying to figure out why it didn't work, especially playing for so many different people. I don't need to do that. I have a bass. I would play for so many different people. um, and then I'm seeing where it's getting choked. And I'm just like, okay, how do I not choke that as well? But then at least this version is the closest that I've realized. Oh, the reason sometimes it gets choked up there, where it just becomes a commodity rather than it being purely about art, is because they don't own like, they don't own their music. Ah, what's up with that? And I'm like, why don't they own their music? Well, they got to pay these guys, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, in my head, well, if you have a band and but artists would never want to just give away equity because they're like, well, I need more for me forever. But they don't realize that they're choking that. But if you do it with people and you treat them in every aspect of the wheel, because and the funny thing is that word family is used by so many different artists that hire sidemen. Your chosen family is getting too old, so you need new fresh blood so the crowd doesn't think that your band is old. You know? It's like, yeah, that's not family. But it's been this approach. That's been my life mission, I think, that I've been searching for. That how can we continue to make this, but not what's the right way for the right reasons? Well, the right reasons for me at least is like I want I want to see Liam, the car's oldest. I want to see Liam in college. I want to see him like chasing his dream. Why? Because his dad helped him because he could, and not just helped him, shown them that you can aim for the highest thing and you can achieve it. You don't have to follow the normal guidelines. You don't have to follow the normal cog in the wheel or you're part of a machine. It's like I think that question has been the thing that's been my driving force. It's my driving force because I'm like, I really believe in this art. I really believe in these musicians. How can we make sure that we can do it by them being themselves completely? And would people listen to it? We are a year and a half in. Who knows? Who knows? But it's also like people are showing up. People are singing the songs. And it's like, okay, let's keep going. Let's just see where it goes.
An American songwriter. You guys won, what was it, 14,000 submissions, Dakar, talk about that whole experience and talk about just, yeah, like talk about from beginning to end.
Well, I think we have to give a shout out to our sax player singer, whose very first song that he'd written with Eric is that song. The very first song he pen to paper wrote won that award. Um, that's a flex for him. I'll let him do that on his own time. But that that alone right there is the type of energy, the type of excitement that we come into this proud and just like we didn't know until he read off that number. I didn't realize how many submissions there were. I knew of the three finalists that we performed against, and even then I didn't I didn't realize again the uh the gravity of what we were doing. I did know that going into that night performing that I was like, I'm going to wear camouflage because I'm going into battle, jokingly. But then it was like, oh yeah, we had so many friends and family all over the world voting on a day-to-day basis, checking in. Hey, we voted. Hey, we've got full classrooms voting for you guys. We've got full like the the amount of support and love and energy that was behind us before even stepping on the stage was like we have a lot to be proud of before, like, first and foremost. But then there's people that are proud of us. We walk out, there's signs and tabs and everybody having signs and just being in in the city, like at a great spot like Basement East. And it was just, and the burgers before the show, that was, I talk about food a lot, but Jesus, those
Bad Luck Burger
Bad
Club.
Luck Burger Club, that was like my first time having them, and I was like, I kind of want to get more, but I can't like overstuff before this, big event. But great burgers. Anyway, there was
Right
good
across
food
Basement East.
right across. It was good food, good energy, and I was with my family. I was with my people, and yeah, to get to go on stage and do what we love to do in this, like, we didn't go in like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We got to do this, and like, no, we went same energy as we did at Floyd, as we did at, you know, uh, Bonnaroo before it became Bonnerain and all the other things that we've done and been a part of. But there's so many different people have these like pre-show rituals or things that they're like, we have to achieve this. Let's play this song. Let's do this. We did the same thing. Hey Eric, what are we thinking? Whatever. Let's just play. Let's do what we do. And yeah, we went out and gave it our all, and we had every moment that we have on stage, the authentic moments of looking at each other like, oh, you went there, and instead of, oh, the decisions that we make on stage and the trust that we have and talk about it. It was. I'm grateful that this is the group that I got to go and win that prize with. I mean, it was magical. Like I felt like a Disney movie. Whenever we there's so many happy endings and stuff, and you just like, yeah, they like pull out this big check, and we're like, oh my god, yeah, and it's just, yeah. I mean, to feel like a rock star is an understatement. Like we really had a good time, and it was well worth the work that
This
was
means I
put
just
in.
need to get a bigger house that I can put this
Yeah,
up somewhere. It doesn't take too much space.
Yeah.
yeah,
I would say like the only the only thing is like we actually had like some lengthy conversations about, since this was such a big deal, should we actually like design a show? And then ultimately we were like, nah, now let's just do the thing we always do. And then
yeah.
and then Eric was like, okay, one note, maybe we should actually play the song we were actually in the competition for. We're like, okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
That's
Let's
the
let's
only,
let's
yeah.
that's like let's do that.
You're right. You're right. You're right. I remember that. It was like,
So
but
okay, no, hold
because
on. We actually have to play this song.
because
Outside of the song,
I do remember that was the back and forth in the beginning when we first
yeah,
got into the grand final.
the
We're like,
final, yeah.
should we put on, like, should we design a show for it? And in my head, my ego, let's just say ego, and my ego goes, the thing that got us there is the thing that we do. Just do the thing that we do.
Yep.
To think about it. And then it was. I'll let the ego speak for a sec. But from when we got on, we were the last people on. And it's like, all right, everyone else has played.
Mm.
Like a comment I got, it's like, oh, the first after before when it was just the car, because how we started the show, it was just the car on drums. He starts off like he just starts off by himself, and then we slowly get on. And the moment that a comment I heard was like, "Oh, the moment the car started playing, it's like, oh, this is another level. This is it. This is it. This is it.
It's over. It's already over.
It's over." Which is like again, not trying to like look down. It's not about that. It's just about knowing where we're at.
Mm.
That's what I remember about that. And I was like, and again, like I said, I really trusted the band. I was like, no, you guys just being yourselves is already miles ahead for some people. It's like if you overthink the thing, if you're like, should we design it so well? When we come in, it's gonna feel like this, and then when we start the parts, and I was like, one, when do we have time to do that? And two, two, it's like you just being yourself is the greatest superpower. Like I even remember this at the Buffalo Mountain Jam because um, the moment I try to give in any of the gigs, I try to give. I love when people don't know that, like, oh, they can sing too as well. By the way, you know that. Um, I remember someone was making this comment after the jam was like, man, when we first heard you play drums, like that's the best drummer I've ever heard in a while. And then their minds explode and it's like, and he can sing. It's like it's wild. It's my favorite thing because it makes people go, what? And that's what I trusted. That spirit. That's the spirit that I was like, we don't need to write a show. And yeah, what got us there is because we were just being us. So continue to do that. Keep doing that. Keep
Yeah.
focusing on that and see who shows up at
So,
the
so
basement E.
was there anything immediate that you got from that, like outside of like the award and the performance? Was there any like, did you have any like anyone reach out to you? Did you have any
Well,
like, yeah,
that
yeah,
that
give me that.
actually that's been it's been magical because what comes out of it is you get studio time and you get $20,000. They you get paid that, and we're like, all right, and we were talking about it. The thing is, the balls of the gall that we all had because we already booked our tour before we even knew how we were gonna get there. Like we already announced, we already had it all placed and announced.
And
Or
this
we
wasn't like this wasn't a tour in the southeast. This was a tour to the other side of the country.
and we were like, all right, when we win that, we'll use that to buy a van, and we did. It's like those things that came out of it were the investments that we were putting to do the thing that we're doing. You know, like just letting like this is a number we need to know as well. Like even if you're an aspiring musician listening to this, it's like, man, renting a van for a weekend that's gonna fit a crew, you're looking and gear, you're looking at like $1,500 to 2 grand a week. We're not paying that because we got our own van. And that's an investment already. Like that's a number we're not even thinking about because we don't have to pay that. But if we were pursuing this thing without that van, it's like, okay, that's a number. That's a number that we have to spend.
Mm.
We're
Or
starting off. There's a guarantee of about 1,500 to 2 grand from that gig, so it's just going to pay for the van rental, and then there's no money for the hotel anymore. There's no money for food anymore. There's no money for us to
yeah.
get paid when we get. There's a lot to take into consideration when those thoughts are had. But yeah, to have that van, that investment, it's a beautiful thing. It's,
And we
it's a
have
beautiful
plans
thing.
to use the recording time when we get it when we're ready to do it. And we're actually like one of the things that we're doing is we're a la Snarky Puppy style. I'm not sure if you've ever seen those videos. Where at Ocean Way, Nashville, on September 3, we're gonna announce soon, um, that we're doing this like in person. live recording of a live album. And it's like everyone's gonna be surrounding because we get set up to record orchestras, right? Ocean Way records most of the Nashville Symphony, and that's where they record. So there's enough for everyone to have like headphones, and then the people that get to watch that gig surrounding us are like listening to like that's the mix, that's what you're gonna hear, that's the light, they get to experience it with us. So that's gonna be fun. So we have plans to use all of that, but we've been making sure we we've been taking our time, and I think that's the universe also pushing us because we've been so busy touring. But now the songs are better. We've been playing it so much and trying out all these different things that we're like, oh, the music's better. The playing
At
is better.
rehearsal,
Yeah. Yeah.
rehearsal, aka the show.
Yeah.
So I was going to say then that's a good segue. Like what do you have that's not recorded that's in the pipeline that that if you wanted to put something out that you have such amount of songs that you could put out?
Well, I just looked, we were talking about this. We were looking at like what song should we record.
Yeah.
We have about 30 songs, 20 to 30 songs that are just like we haven't even had time to touch them. And we're constantly, it's like we're writing, and Cav has a whatever. We all have all these songs around from everybody that's like, okay. But it's like we have music right now that we recorded at East Iris that we're going to release into an EP. We're checking the mixes at this moment. We've been just going back and forth with mixes. So that's a thing that we've already recorded. But that's about five. How many did we record? Five?
Five,
Five
five in
songs.
it. Yeah,
5 songs. And then we release that. And then we have Live at Ocean Way that we're gonna want to release. We're also trying to team up with volume.com to see if they can record the whole thing
Yeah.
and people can watch the thing. They can be part of that whole whatever experience. But anyway, um, yeah, we have about thir yeah, that many that we haven't even touched yet. That's what's so exciting too. That's like, oh my gosh, and the songs are just getting better. So being able to take our time with that allows us really to go, hmm, which ones should we pick? And it's okay right now. That's currently where the pipelines are. There's so much stuff. We have so much content.
Yeah. So my last question for you, because I was looking at your Instagram before we did this interview, and you guys were out at Lake Tahoe, and it looks like you had a boat ride on Lake Tahoe. I have not been to Lake Tahoe. It's on my bucket list. Please share with me your individual experience and what you thought of Lake Tahoe.
It is phenomenal. It is truly phenomenal. The weather's divine. Even when it's overcast, it's still so beautiful. They were telling us it's the second cleanest lake in the world, like behind some other one like out of the country. But
In
it is
Russia. In Russia.
somewhere in
yeah,
Russia.
yeah. But it's like, but it is the cleanest body of water in the U.S. It was great. They treated us super kindly. There's a lot of like history of that lake, so we got like a kind of like a I don't know if some other people talk about that, but like it was really cool just to get like insight into the area, but also just ride around on the boat, just have a great time. Yeah, it was just a wonderful day, and just the surrounding landscape is breathtaking.
Takar, what about you?
I was loving every minute of it. I grew up getting to experience boats and did cruise ships for a while and stuff. So like, I love the water. I love getting out, and the fact that body of water being so clean and being with the family and stuff, we really got to experience something breathtaking. And while we're there, there's like the celebrity golf tournament going on one side of the lake, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can see my favorite basketball players, and I'm just like wowing out about that. We like pull up to like the 18th hole, you can just there's just so much like history and stuff there. And then when you go to Emerald Bay and just crossing and it was just it's like a dream. I don't think people realize how fortunate like we are as musicians to get to go out see the world, but then also get get like get into a predicament where we're playing a show and they go, "Hey, you want a boat ride with this captain?" And a buddy from my hometown was on that same boat the week before because he played in another band that was also there out that way. So it was just like the fact that we overlapped and took pictures with the same captain, and we're like, it's just it's a beautiful part of the world to see. Like I encourage you to go. Like you have to do that. And I was the only one to not jump into the water. I mean, I this much regretted just because it looked beautiful and I could see into the water and everything.
You should fully
I didn't
regret it.
I just didn't I didn't have a towel. I just was like, I don't want to.
You would
I don't
have.
wanna be
It's a boat.
damp.
It's a boat. You would have air dried.
I don't
I'm
want to
not
be
trying to
damp
hear.
all day. I don't want to
I'm not
be,
trying to hear. I was damp for roughly 25 minutes.
but no, I mean, just the fact that we were all together on that boat, it's something that I'll never forget, and I encourage you to go do it, and take you're the dog, so I'm sure you take some puppies with you, or some folks with you that you care about and that you will enjoy it with. Don't take any bad vibes. If they piss you off, or if you don't fully love them, don't take them. Go with people you love that you're going to have a good time. So ain't nothing going to mess up the stride. Make sure it's good. My bad.
Yeah, if
I
I'm on a
love
boat in
that.
Lake Tahoe, I'm gonna have a big spliff.
Dude, yes, 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 yes,
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
Like you love that. I was like, that's where all the California hippies went. They're all
Yeah,
in Lake Tahoe area.
Mhm.
yeah. This is. Listen, now that I know that, dog, we have we have somewhere to be. I'm just.
We good, baby.
we'll
We
we'll get
good.
we'll get to we'll get together. We'll get together. We
We
have to.
good.
Well, you'll be at Bristol, right?
Uh, no, I will not be in Bristol. No, that's a little far from me.
Where,
That's
where?
about.
Oh, you're Pennsylvania.
I'm
That's
in
right.
Pennsylvania. Yeah, yeah.
That's right. That's right.
We're gonna see you. We're gonna see you. Just not
Yeah.
in
Well,
Bristol.
we'll be in New York in a couple of weeks if you want to do the drive. We're playing at Bitter End, and
Oh,
the bitter end with Marty Schwartz, and
okay.
then Saturday night we're there at the Groove with our own show, the Moga Show.
Oh, so you're playing 822 and 823 then?
When is that? Hold on.
It was,
It's
yeah,
23 or
I looked at your
24.
schedule.
8:22 we are playing. No,
Okay.
8:29. 8:29.
829. All right.
8:29 we're playing at the Groove.
All right. I will let you know because, every family needs a dog.
Yes, yes.
Is that your thing?
No,
Have you said that before?
no,
Yes,
I just
sir.
came up with that,
Yes,
baby.
sir. I love that. I love that.
I
I love
like
that.
just
Yes,
just
sir.
got a dog in real life. I,
100%.
gue- I guess you're right.
100%. That's it.
Thank you, dog,
That's
man.
it.
You're
That's
the
it.
great questions.
I appreciate that, gentlemen. Hey, guys, best of luck the rest of the year. I can't wait to hear the new music. I can't wait to see you guys live. Just keep crushing it, man. Just you're killing it. So
Thank
thank
you
you.
for
Thank you so
having
much.
us.
Thanks
Yeah,
for having us, man.
Grateful to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us and helps the bands and artists like Moga Family Band. Also, check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters. That's RAWR, outfitters.com. Don't just wear, RAR. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Dog. You've been great. This is the Music Lab Podcast.